regarding children in Virginia. Approximately a year ago this month, I appeared before this board per the invitation of Mr. Thomas in order to share with you the issues regarding our children in Virginia that are an epidemic. Right now, everyone outside of Virginia has acknowledged that Virginia's schools are in a crisis as it relates to civil rights violations, except the individuals inside Virginia, including this board. In Chesterfield County, a child lost her life. Her name is Amaria Johnson, because her special needs plan was not followed. Mr. McCoy, the NAACP there, did not make a sound. No protest, no anything. The mother was left to fight for herself. In Henrico County, Ms. Bridgeforth is not here right now, but in Henrico County, a child with special needs was pepper sprayed, 8th grader. Lost 20% of his sight in one of his eyes by a school resource officer. They said nothing. So I guess I'm here again, a year later, having partnered with the NAACP, having put the fire under the NAACP, having held you accountable, and we still have no definitive strategic plan on how to protect our children. And as we know, children need an advocate. And I hear, every time I call the state office, all I hear is, well, we're defending people who've been shot. Let the dead bury the dead. The children are important. And if this executive committee, if the state cannot multitask and deal with issues regarding children as well as people that are being shot, then every one of you needs to step down. Internally, the NAACP is terminally ill. You are dysfunctional to the nth degree. I have never been part of an organization like this. You're dysfunctional only because you've lost sight of who you're really working for. You're working for children, you're working for those who have no voice. That's what you're working for. I shared in an email yesterday that I was appalled Thursday night when I was part of an interview with Jason Lambert, who issued an excellent report about school policing in Virginia and how our children are being devastated in every Virginia classroom. And Jason told me that he had met with Jack Radley last summer and offered to train every individual in Virginia on how to process educational complaints. Jason is an attorney with Just Children, one of the top advocacy organizations in the world. Jason also told me that Mr. Gravely never got back to him to even schedule the training. So can someone explain to me how that can happen? How we can go on with the blood of children on our hands? And President Taylor, I've spoken to you many times about that. We get no response. You guys are more interested in developing your own campaign cups than working with our children. This is not acceptable. You are taking on the behaviors of the oppressor. And because you're taking on the behaviors of the oppressor, we have to take on the tactics of the oppressor. So as a result, we will continue to protest the NAACP until you do your job. Until you have leadership that is not rotten to the core. Until you have leadership that does care about our children more than you care about your positions. It has to stop. You're dysfunctional. You're making it worse for those of us who are in the street fighting. And you sit up in here and you talk about twiddly-things. You don't talk about anything important. You talk about who's on the executive board. I don't care who's on the executive board. I want to know what the executive board is doing. I don't care about all this politics. You've become the oppressor. Each of you. Mr. McCoy, you being in bed with the school district is preposterous. In bed with the school district, covering up 60 complaints that were sent to you last year, and you still on the board. You guys should remove him for ethical violations. But instead, you guys sit here and cover up everything. Cover up everything. And meanwhile, our children are dying. Amaria Johnson is dead. Her civil rights were violated. She is dead. Amaria Johnson is dead. And we could have stepped in to save her life, and we didn't. We didn't. So her blood is not only on Chesterfield County's hands, her blood is on everyone's hands at this table. Because what happens? There comes a time when silence is betrayal. Mr. Gravely, her blood is on your hands. Her blood is on your hands. Every time you ignore a complaint regarding a child, their blood is on your hands. Carmen, their blood is on your hands.
Ms. Lucas, we thank you for your comment.
And I hope you do something, and I'm still waiting for you to respond. respond to my comments from October. You said it was going to be a response in 2 weeks. I have received nothing.
Are there any other public